I've made a huge mistake.
I think we'll be okay. Invite Roman. Sorry, Roman. I need slightly faster heals though. I want to change one talent. I might go high tide for this one. It's gonna be tough to heal in here. I think we can do this though. Big key, big key. Yeah, the first pull's gonna be tough though. I have to save Sphere Link for what do you call it? We run into trouble. Yeah, definitely lost that first pull. This should be interesting though. Keywords Pro guys, you want to get the next one? Those feels when you're plugging in have to do 23 HPS because people suck. Jesus. Thanks for the BK. We're ready to check in just a sec. Did Root need a summon? No, he's good. Do I have a rune? No, I don't. No, I do not. Alright, here we go, guys. Yo, good morning, Gutty. How are you? Did I confirm?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks, Roman. But I've got a couple of runes already. I've got my I've got the Earth Living weapon. Girl, rebel girl. All right, my first 24 this season. Let's see how we do. Nice. Feels solid so far. Just be careful of the cleave on the next guys. These guys have a nasty cleave. Hey Inside, how are you? My best friend. Be careful, punch out. Oh. Sorry, dude. Whoa, whoa, punch out. Roman. What is doing so much damage? Is it the lady? I gotta get mana after this. Sorry, Roman. Ooh. Well, good morning, sir. Perfect time. Alright, gonna grab mana real quick. Although you don't take too much damage here. Oh, I should still get mana, I think. Hey, good morning, Goody. So far, so good. Let's do it. Nice moves. You want me? Nice, nice. Oh, that was close. That was close. Alright. Do we hold one? I can hold one in the back. I'm holding two. Make sure you guys get in the Spirit Link. Oh, Spirit Link's on cooldown. Spirit Link's on cooldown, everybody, just so you know. No Spirit Link. Oh wow, that wasn't bad. That was nothing. What happened? I'm scared to see the room after the stair. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's definitely a tough room. But so far, so good. So far, so good, dude. Easy 24. What? What was that? Bullshit. Did you see that? What a bunch of bullshit. What? Yo, what's up? How are you, Bill? Alright, let's get this fucker going. Just gotta make sure the stairwell isn't too horrible. Somebody tell Hydrax I'm doing a 24. Tell him. Blisters. Gotta wait for he gets a couple more stacks. Nice, Roman. Where's the big one? The spinner. Dude, that magic just bangs. Make sure we target the arcane mages. Wow, Grandma distracting you in our run, trolling. That was a very bad start at the beginning, definitely. Be careful here, this is a tough pull. Oh shit, yeah, he just died. Kill the Arcanist if we can. That Arcanist is super dangerous. Watch out for the arrow brush. Nice ring. Nice ring, dude. I just stunned, I thought. No? Nice, nice. Ancestral guidance. Holy shit. Rough. Oh, I wish your death didn't proc, that's bad. By the sea. We get some mana real quick. Okay, we're good. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why is everybody bleeding? Jesus. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. You were too low. Oh my god. Gonna need mana one more time, sorry. We need Punch Out to come back too. Yo, what's up, Carter? How are you, man? My first 24, Carter. This season. Drinking mana real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Target the Arcanist. Kill the Arcanist first, please. Arcanist first. Kill that fucker. Whoa, what killed him so fast? I had to do it early. Just watch the archers, guys. I'm gonna hero this, by the way, when they come out. Stay? Okay. I'm gonna hero. Come in. Ooh. Nice job, guys. Nice, 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 nice. Solid. Nice, nice, nice. Sorry, dude. I'll get mana after this. I ran ahead there. Sorry, TJ. I gotta say, this run's going pretty well. Nice. Getting mana real quick. Alright, should be good. Yeah. I'll drop green in the corner for sure. Watch out, watch out. I think we'd be doing better a little bit if you had those boots on. Oh, those boots, dude. Crazy. Why do you keep hitting me with this bleed? I don't get it. Oh shit. That thing landed right on me. Is it only gonna target me? That's annoying. Does this beam get faster or something? Is she done? Nope, of course not. Finally, she's done. Jesus, it's annoying. Oh shit, Rude, I'm sorry. My fault. A little too close to you there. Watch out, guys, watch out. Damn, this thing hurts. How many times is she gonna hit me with it? What the heck? She hit me with almost every one. Nice job, Kick. Whoa, what happened? What? You're already dead? Jesus. Holy shit. That was brutal. I was not expecting that. I'm sorry, man. Shit. Oh, I gotcha. That makes sense. Ooh. I have no clue if, like, I need to use cooldowns. Oh shit. Shit. I'll res you in a second, Cake. Oh shit. Okay, resing. No, I'm not. Resing. Sorry, guys. What happened there? Did you see Carter? Were like people too close to melee, or was that my fault? Hey, Naseo, how are you, Dongdingy? Morning. Yeah, the spin hurts. Again. Watch out for the indigestion, boys. Shit's about to hurt. Be nowhere near those guys. Oh, whoa. Oh, shit, what happened? Is it the fire? Oh, the spin. Someone else get the res, I want to drink. Can you get him? Yeah, we're doing good. Good so far. It's not a healing issue, come on. This guy's busted my balls. It's not a healing issue, come on. Shit. Roman, I'm not near you. Of course. I was not near you, dude. Don't go in there, Kick. Don't go in there. Well, we were doing good. Just die? G'day, mate. God damn it. That sucked. Hey Arch, how are you? That sucked ass. I might have killed the key. Probably killed it right there. Ah, my fault.
How original! What? It's not my fault!
That was my fault.
It's not my fault!
I wasn't near him.
It's not my fault! It's not my fault!
That was my fault. Plenty of time, really? Jesus. Aren't these bats attacking me? Ooh, Roman. Jesus. Oh shit. How big is this thing? Dominator's fucking huge. I don't know how to keep a DK alive. Although sometimes I'm not healing him, so that's a problem. Roman, where are you? I can't see you. Are we running through? Are we staying here? Guess we're running through. Oh, crystal castles. Just pump some heals out here. Just pumping heals. That's not good. I don't have any spare link. Oh my god. One is dead, we'd probably be okay. Okay, we're really okay. Holy shit, this guy's thick. Keep Artiner's shield on him. Yeah, he's got enough runic power. Sorry, TJ, I totally missed it. Just gonna grab mana. You can start. You can start. I'm grabbing mana. Just start. Just start. Do it. Do it now. Get to the chopper. Don't bother running, fiend. Gotcha. Thanks, TJ. Yeah, it's hard to see the runic power sometimes. I agree though. It's all about management of like watching when his runic power is low. Whoa, 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 whoa. Damn, this guy is still thick. We don't want to hero him though, right? We're saving hero for second phase. No hero, right? Should we hero or no? I guess not. No? Okay. No hero. Cool. We'll hold. I didn't even see that was targeting me, shit. I could take this one. Oh, never mind. There's a lot of shit on the ground, Jesus. Almost there. Honestly though, the bad trash is done. This trash is like pretty reasonable. Nice, 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 nice. Easy. Just need to be careful on this trash and we're good, I think. Last ball shouldn't be too bad. Good morning, TikTok. Hope everybody's doing well. We're doing viewer keys on retail. Good morning, TikTok. What'd you say, Ashley? Oh yeah, last boss. Oh wait, wait, don't die. Oh my god. Dude, healing a DK is stressful. And Roman's good. Just don't know when to... I guess the beginning of the poll is the scariest. Root! Ooh, good song. Yeah. Bigs, watch out, watch out. Almost, almost. I'm gonna need mana soon. Oh shit, I thought the stun was gonna go off. Is that Al? How do I say your name, sir? Is it Al Breaks? Alex Breaks? Alex Breaks. Alex Breaks. Now I can see it. Hey, thanks for the follow, dude. Appreciate the support towards 10k. This 24 key is hot, dude. Hot, 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 hot. Gonna grab mana real quick. I'll meet you guys up there. Definitely PvP is also more dynamic, less scripted, if you know what I mean. What are you, PvP warrior? I'm drinking, I'm drinking. Drinking, drinking, drinking. Okay, I'm coming, I'm coming. Oh, nice. What's Ashline Grace? Oh, it's not Ashley, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. In my defense, reading is not my strong suit. I assume DH PvP is pretty good right now. Alright, let's get some boss music going. Very appropriate. Nice, dude. Let's do it.
Unacceptable!
Oh, you don't like Final Fantasy?
Unacceptable!
Whoa, Roman. Jesus Christ. Hey, what's up, Gino? Hey, Sil, thank you for the follow. Appreciate the support towards 10k. Hope you're enjoying the boss music. Look out! Alright, I have Spirit Link for the big finale here. Now you. Oh, sometimes, but not often. It's just hard because I mainly do viewer keys, so there's not a lot of time to raid. But occasionally, yeah. Nice. I'll hero when he gets back. Punch out, punch out, punch out. Probably Waycrest Manor or Freehold last season. I think it's Final Fantasy IV, which was 2 in the US, so I guess you're right. I'll hero when he comes back out. Let's see what the next boss music is. Guys, if you're lurking, don't forget to follow. We're doing viewer keys. Here we go. Ooh, classic church song. Also from Final Fantasy. If you guys like Final Fantasy music, this is also boss music. Dum 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 dum. Get your motor running. And whatever comes our way. I'm at Area 52, JJ. Make it happen. We are doing viewer keys. Explode into space. Hey Harold, thanks for the follow. Appreciate the help towards 10k. We are pushing the 10k follower goal. Thank you, man. Nice. Easy 24 key. Nice job, guys. Easy key. 485. Nice job, guys. Explode into space. Anybody need a key? Anybody need that ring? We were born to be wild. Good job, guys. We're doing viewer keys on Twitch. If anybody needs help, keyword is pro. Hey, thank you for coming, Johnny. We'll get the next one going here shortly. Born to be wild. Easy 24 key, guys. Johnny, what key did you get? What 25 did you get? So positive in your group? Yeah, try to keep the vibes chill. How could you be an asshole while Steppenwolf was playing? Beefy key though, guys.